Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events
Premiered on Friday the 13th.
On Friday the 13th on Netflix. And I need to get this out first thing, full disclosure, have never read the books.
Yeah,
and
me
neither has Chris.
Me neither. Yeah.
Now, I saw the original Jim Carrey movie once when I was a kid, and then I watched bits and pieces of it over the past couple of days. But I have finished the entire Netflix series.
Yeah, and I'm about halfway through.
You're about halfway through.
Yeah.
So basically, they're doing all the books. Every book is broken into 2 episodes. So basically, every book has its own movie.
Yeah,
is pretty much
essentially
how it is. Now, what's interesting, and because I kind of went into the backstory of this and the movie and the author, Daniel Hadler, he's involved. He's an executive producer. He's written some of the screenplays for the show. Barry Sonnenfeld is the showrunner for this show. Now, he was originally signed to direct the movie.
Really?
Lemony Snicket Series of Unfortunate Events. And they picked him because he directed the Addams Family movies, and they liked that tone, and that's the kind of tone they wanted to go for.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Right. And then something happened, and he had to drop out. Daniel Hadler, who is pen name Lemony Snicket, who wrote the children's books, wrote like 6 or 7 drafts of the script for the movie, and it ended up getting thrown out, and his script didn't make it to the movie. So the original director and the original writer didn't have as much input on the final product that we got. Now, this is almost like, hey, let's do a do-over and let's do it right this time. And I like the way that they're breaking each book into 2 episodes. So everybody's books, if like one of the books is your favorite or whatever, it's going to get its own story. It's not going to be
a full hour and a half.
Right. It's not going to be a mishmash of different books thrown in together like the movie was.
The movie was, yes.
Right. So let's talk about Neil Patrick Harris first off as Count Olaf, because if you juxtapose his character versus Jim Carrey's is way more wacky, over the top, and Neil Patrick Harris is more like vile and sinister. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you.
And more evil.
Yes. Well, there was still a fair bit of slapstick, and again, I'm only halfway through it.
Right.
This first season, but there was quite a bit of slapsticky stuff that he did, especially in that first episode when you're getting introduced to his troupe of cronies and stuff too, especially. Like, there's a lot of ridiculous stuff that he does. So it is still fairly vaudevillian villain.
Right, but go back and watch the Jim Carrey version, and you'll notice how much more over the top his portrayal of Count Olaf is versus Neil Patrick Harris.
And that's just kind of Jim Carrey.
Right,
and we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get into Jim Carrey in a little bit, because there's some stuff I need to say about him. But I love the way that Patrick Warburton it portrays Lemony Snicket. Now, he was played by Jude Law in the movie, but from what
was not a very present character.
Very, very, very much so. Now, from what I've read about the stories, again, I haven't read the books, is that they pretty much decided to have Patrick Warburton in there because there's some wordplay and style and everything that he peppered throughout the books as the narrator in the books that they really like, we're going to lose a lot of this story if we don't include that. And he's also kind of a character in this world too, because he's mentioned. And I love the way that there's also these like meta mentions of it being a streaming television show. In fact, in the 4th and 5th, or in the 4th book, which would be the 3rd and 4th episodes, or no, the 4th and 5th episodes, whatever. In the Josephine story.
Yeah, which I only started and then fell asleep in because
Mr. Poe's like, he's like, oh no, it's the reptile room episode, because Monty's like, we're gonna go see a movie, and Count Olaf's like, I more prefer like a long form streaming television series as opposed to a movie.
And then just like looks directly at the camera.
And I like that. And, knowing that the author of the original stories is involved in this series, it makes it kind of okay. Because if it wasn't, I don't think I might not have appreciated that joke as much.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of a jab at the movie in the same time, because it was just kind of all cobbled together.
Yeah.
I think the breakout star for me in Lemony Snicket is Sonny,
The baby?
Yes. She's my favorite character
Well,
of all of them.
I mean, Sunny is easily, like, one of the funniest characters, because, like, she's the only one that straight up sees everything that's going on and identifies it all immediately.
Right. And
I don't trust this guy.
Yeah, and it's got the subtitles.
Well, that's suspicious.
Yeah, the baby talk turns into, like, she's got the subtitles, and it's great. And I think that's really clever. And the guest starring roles, I guess, the cameos you've got.
Well, like Asif Manvi was playing Monty.
You've got Will Arnett, Colby Smulders as mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Joan Cusack as the Supreme Court Justice or the Justice or whatever.
Yeah.
You've got Alfre Woodard as Aunt Josephine. Who was in Daredevil.
I was about to say,
and Scrooged.
Couldn't quite remember
Star Trek
what
First Contact.
Yes, all of these things.
Yeah. No, as soon as I started, I was like, oh, it's Alfre. I love her.
You had mentioned that Catherine O'Hara was in it.
Catherine O'Hara is in the last 2 episodes, along with Don Johnson and the dude from Flight of the Conchords. Not one of the band members, but they're the guy in the New Zealand consulate. I can't remember the actor's name.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he sang the Leggy Blonde song. He's in it. And I think that episode probably had the most cameos out of all of them because you've got Catherine O'Hara, who incidentally played the Justice in the
Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, in the Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
So a little, full circle there.
Right.
It's already been renewed for a second season.
And it will probably be renewed for a third because there are 13 books, and if each book gets its own 2-episode run.
Yeah. The second season is going to be 10 episodes as opposed to 8. So you're going to get 5 of the books, and then the last season will be, I guess, the other 4. So you'll get another 8 episode. But Daniel Hadler had said, we want to get these filmed as quickly as possible because
the kids are still kids.
Kids are going to grow up, and they're going to get older.
Well, I mean, it's like Netflix doing Stranger Things in perpetuity for the rest of time. Those kids are going to get older,
right? But you could tell that story with them being old too.
Yeah,
you can't with Lemony Snicket because it's in a defined box. It's not like there's a Stranger Things series of books
exactly
that it's based on. No, it's that. So anyway, I'd say overall, I thought it was great. I loved the look. I loved the music. It was almost like if Tim Burton had made a series that didn't star Johnny Depp. I thought Neil Patrick Harris was great. I thought all the actors involved were fantastic, and it was just a joy to watch.
My biggest and probably only problem is, and granted, again, I'm halfway through, so I don't know if this trend continues, but having watched the 3 books that were covered in the original movie, I know that the formula is still kind of there. They move in with their new relative, and Olaf follows and shows up in some kind of ridiculous character. Everybody's like, all 3 of the kids are like, yeah, no, that's kind of Olaf.
Yeah.
And
all the adults,
nobody believes them.
All the adults in this world
nobody
are dumb.
Gets it. Yeah, just everyone is dumb as a bag of rocks.
Maybe that's why the series was so successful, because it is a children's book where the kids are always smarter than the grown-ups.
Yeah, I mean,
but that formula does break a little bit because in the last 2 episodes they go and work in a lumber mill. Or forced to work in a lumber mill.
That's really weird.
And John Johnson is the owner of the lumber mill, and his character is so similar to his character from Django Unchained. It's great. I mean, he doesn't say the N-word at all, but it's
really
implied.
Does not say the N-word. That in a children's book TV show. That's good. No, that's social progress, I guess.
Well, it's 2017.